Sir, Friday's class you haven't uploaded, sir.
No, I haven't uploaded. I will upload today.
Okay, sir.
Okay. In the last class, what we have discussed? We have discussed about web element commands. Okay. So different tasks, different operations that we can perform as part of the every web element. Okay. So today we're going to discuss about one more concept called navigation commands. Okay. Navigation commands. So first of all, you should understand what are navigation commands. So there is my website, right? So let me open my website. Okay. So this is my website. Automation practice is my website. Okay. So once I open this website, once I click on this sign in page, I'm going to sign in page. Right? I clicked on sign in page. I came to sign in page. Now, if I want to come back to the previous page, what I will do? I will click on back arrow. Here, top right, we have a back arrow, right? Normally, we click on back arrow. If I click on back arrow, so what exactly happening? The previous page, which is loaded. We are going to navigate to the previous page. How we are going to navigate to the previous page? Based on the browser history. Okay. If I go to browser history, so if you want to know the browser history, just click on here. Most of the people know how to open the browser history, right? Okay. Click on these three dots here and click on, right? Just a second. Just a second. Just a second.
In incognito, no progress.
Just a second. I open in incognito mode. Just normal. I'll open in normal mode. Okay. Let's say I open this page. I clicked on sign in. Right. The moment I click on sign in, these pages which are loaded. So these will save in the browser history. So let me open history. Right. So first I have opened. Let me delete this. Okay. First I opened the My Store page. Right. People can see it. First I opened this My Store page. Then I clicked on login button. Again, the corresponding page will be saved in the browser history. Now, in which page currently I am in the login page. So if I'm going to go back, I need to click on this back arrow. If I click on this back arrow, what will happen? So from the current page, in the browser history, whatever the page it is there, to the previous page, we will navigate. Okay. When you click on back arrow, so to where we will navigate? We will navigate to the previous page, which is there in the browser history. Okay, which is already loaded. So let me click on the back arrow. Now I am at My Store, this particular page. Again, if I want to go back to the previous page, which is opened, not previous page, which I opened, like the next page, which is in the browser history. So it is a login page. Again, if I click on this forward button, so from the current page to the next page, we will navigate. When I click on this forward arrow, again I'm coming to the next page, previous page and next page based on the browser history. And now again I want to refresh this. I just click on this refresh icon here. It will refresh the current page. So all these actions I want to perform using Selenium. For that purpose, Selenium gave a navigation commands where we can use the navigation commands and we can perform all these actions. We can come back to the previous page. We can go to the next page based on the browser history. And then we can refresh the existing page. And we can do all these things as part of navigation commands. Along with these commands, again, one more command that we have. If you want to open URL, normally we are using driver.get command. Similarly, we have driver.navigate.to command is there where we can open the website. We will see the difference also. What exactly the difference? Okay. So today we're going to discuss about the navigation commands. So these are the different navigation commands that are available. So the first one is used to open the URL. Once we open the browser, this one helps us to open the URL. Similarly, like driver.get.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Till now, your voice was not audible.
For everyone, it is same.
For us, it is clear, sir.
No.
Now it's
For
clear,
every-
but till now it was not audible at all.
For everyone, it is same.
No, sir.
Clear formation.
We're able to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So see, maybe from your side it was issue. So I'll repeat the again once again, no problem. Okay. So normally we'll perform different operations at this level, like back arrow and forward, based on the pages that we loaded previously, and then we'll navigate to different pages using this back arrow and then this forward arrow. And then if you want to refresh the page, I'll click on this refresh page. All these are called the navigations. Okay, to the different pages, something like that. So for this purpose, Selenium is providing navigation commands where we can make use of these commands to work on those, clicking on this forward icon and back button, something like that. So now, if you want to open the URL, previously we were using driver.get. Instead of that, we can use driver.navigate.to. This is one more additional feature that we get. And what is the difference, we will see. And driver.navigate.back is nothing but clicking on the back arrow. Driver.navigate.forward is nothing but clicking on the forward arrow. Driver.navigate.refresh is nothing but the clicking on the refresh icon. Simple. So let us discuss all these things one by one. So let me create a let me increase the font size a bit. Okay, that's fine. So let me create a package. Okay, I'm navigator's navigation command. Okay. Inside this, I'm going to create a class navigation commands. Okay, so to load the page, so what exactly we are doing? Let me copy the previous code. Till here, we're opening the browser and maximizing the window. Now, if you want to open the URL, instead of driver.get, I'm going to use this driver.navigate.to command. Okay, driver.navigate.to. Inside, we need to pass the URL which you want to open. So this URL which I want to open. Okay. So this URL I want to open using driver.navigate.to. So once I open the page, I want to click on the sign in link. Let me open the sign in. Okay. Let me copy this sign in text. Okay. So driver dot navigate dot not driver dot navigate. How to find the link? Driver dot find element by dot partial link text. Why I'm giving partial link text? Because there are spaces are there. I don't want to include spaces. Okay. when we talk about this text, there are spaces before and after the text. So that's the reason I'm giving partial link text, and then click on the link. So now, once I click on the link, I want to come back to the previous page based on the browser history. So if you want to come back to the previous page after clicking on sign in button, I need to use the driver.navigate.back command. That is a command that we have to use. So driver.navigate.back. For going to back, so okay, once I click on sign in button, I'll just wait for some time so that we can clearly see whether we're navigating to the previous page or not. Let me wait for 10 seconds. Okay, add throws declaration, that is fine. Once I navigate to back page, like previous page, clicking on back arrow, and navigate to the home page again. Again, I want to click on the forward page. Okay. Once I click on forward, I'll again come back to the login page, right? So I just want to click on forward. Driver.navigate.forward. So again, once I come back to the home page, before going to the login page again, I wait for 10 seconds. Now, once I come back to the page, I just want to refresh the page. Okay, I just want to refresh the page. For that purpose, I want to use driver.navigate.refresh. Again, I'll wait for 10 seconds and perform some refresh action. Okay, these are the different navigation commands that we have. Driver.navigate.to, which opens the any URL, and driver.navigate.back, it will take us back to the previous page. Driver.navigate.forward, it will take us back to the next page. And then driver.navigate.refresh, it will refresh the current page. So let me run this and see. I clicked on the login page. I want the login page now. I'm waiting for 10 seconds. Okay. Once I wait for 10 seconds, I clicked on back arrow. Right. Again, I'm waiting for 10 seconds. Clicking on the next icon. Again, I'm on the login page. Again, waiting for 10 seconds. And I refresh the page now. Okay, it's refreshing. Refreshed. So this is where these are the navigation commands. So what is the difference between now driver.get and driver.navigate.to? What is the main difference that we have? So driver.get command will opens the page, and driver.navigate.to also opens the page, right? So what is the difference? So difference is like driver.get opens the page and waits for the page to load. Driver.navigate.to doesn't wait for page to load. The default time to open the page to load is around 300 seconds, if I'm not wrong. Okay, 5 minutes. If I use driver.get, but it doesn't wait for that much time. So driver.navigate.to. Driver.get opens the page and waits for the page to load, and driver.navigator doesn't wait for page to load. But technically, both works as same. Okay. Clear? So that's about navigation commands. And now till now, what are the different types of web elements that we have worked with? So forget about navigation command. This is done. We're going to the next concept. So what are the different types of web elements that we have seen as of now that we have worked with? Text boxes. We have entered some text. Links. We clicked on the links. And also buttons. We clicked on the buttons, login buttons, whatever the button it is. Only these kind of web elements we have seen as of now. So if we consider any page, there are multiple types of elements will be available. Not only these buttons, links, or text fields, right? So there are multiple elements are available. What are the different types of that a web page contains normally, usually, and how to handle them? That we should know. So when we talk about different kind of web elements, I just listed out few of the web elements. Okay. So I'll give. So what are the different types of web elements that we have? Okay. So we have text boxes, and we have seen password fields, right? Where we cannot see the text type is equal to password. Input type is equal to password. So we have also seen buttons. We have also seen links. Apart from this, we have different other elements that we will see normally on a web page. So those are called radio buttons. Next one is checkboxes. The next one is drop downs. And the next one is web tables. Normally we call it as web tables. Okay, table elements we will see. Mostly we will see these kind of web elements on any web page. As of now, we have discussed till here. Text boxes, password fields, and then buttons and links. We have to discuss again these buttons, radio buttons, not a normal button, radio buttons, checkboxes, drop downs, and web tables, and how to handle them, how to work on those elements. Okay, so and along with these things, till now we have seen for these things how HTML code looks like, right? So before going to discuss all these things, we will see the HTML code also, how exactly HTML code look like, and what are the different operations that we can perform on these elements. Okay, so I have listed this the same thing here. Text boxes, type of web elements, different types of web elements that normally we see on any web page. Okay, if you see here, text boxes, input where tag will be input and type is equal to text, and then password where tag is equal to input and type is equal to password. Links we have seen where it will start with A and we have a link will be there, and then link text will be there or visible text will be there. So buttons will be there, either button starts with button like this, or else input type is equal to submit like this also. The buttons will be available. Now we are going to discuss about this radio buttons and checkboxes. What is the HTML tag that we will see? Input type is equal to radio for radio buttons. So checkbox also start with input tag only, but type is equal to checkbox. These things, concentration on only these things, two things. Okay. Okay. So radio button starts with input tag where type is equal to radio. Checkbox starts with input tag where type is equal to checkbox. So what exactly these radio buttons, how it looks like, and what exactly checkboxes, how it looks like, and what kind of operations that we can perform. We will see an example. Okay. Okay. So first we will see the radio buttons and then checkboxes. Just a second. So let me open this website now, where I will show you the example of radio buttons and checkboxes. Okay. Here, if you see here, you can see, right? So this is how a radio button look like, and this is how a checkbox looks like. Okay. So radio buttons are normally with a circle. Okay, you will see circle symbol like this, and checkboxes are normally you will see a square bracket like this. So you can select any option, option 1, option 2, or option 3. Just clicking on this, how we are clicking on buttons and links. Similarly, identify the radio button and click on it. Okay, let me click on option 1 here. It got selected. Okay, so if you click on option 2, what will happen? This option will be selected. And when the moment I click on option 2, option 1 will be deselected. It will not get selected because only one option you can select at a single point of time when we talk about radio buttons. Only one option. Normally, where we can see when we have a gender field will be there, where male and female will be there when you're signing up, right? Either you click on male or female. You can't be both, right? So just click on male or female. Similarly, kind of radio buttons are something where we can select only one option, not two. Once you try to select other option, the previously selected option will be deselected. So I can select only option 1 or option 2 or option 3. Any one option we can select. But checkboxes, it is different, where we can select more than one options. I can select checkbox 1. Okay, I can see the tick mark. Similarly, if I want to select checkbox 2, I can select it. More than one options I can select. Checkboxes are something where we can select more than one options, but radio buttons we can select only one option at a time, single point of time. Okay. If we try to select other option when we talk about radio buttons, other option will be deselected. Okay. So if you want to deselect the checkbox, again you have to click on the same checkbox if you want to deselect. Clicking on the checkbox 1, deselecting, you want to click on the same. But here if you click on the same option, it won't deselect. If you select, one option will be selected for sure. If you want to deselect, you just need to refresh the page again. Otherwise, it won't get deselected for when you talk about radio buttons. Okay. So let us see all these things. Okay. Let us try to identify the radio buttons and let us try to click on these radio buttons and checkboxes. Okay, let's do that. So let me create a new package called radio on checkbox. I'm creating a class called radio buttons example. Let me use the existing code to open the web page. Okay, so what is the website? So this is my website. Okay, so once I open this website, I want to work with the radio buttons first, right? So I just want to click on the radio button. So let me refresh the page again. I want to click on option 1 radio button. For this, first I need to inspect this radio button. So right click and click on inspect. Okay. If you see, I have already shown HTML previously, right? Input type is equal to radio. Here, if you see input, just a second, guys. Guys, can you hear me?
Sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. You see here, I have selected the first radio button. This radio button, round color circle is the radio button. Okay. Talk about this. Already earphones ఉన్నాయా? Earphones. పర్లేదు. Hi guys, sorry. Sorry again. So can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I changed the earphones. Okay, Bluetooth earphones got charging at 2 hours. Okay, that's fine. So now, when we talk about this radio button, so we have selected this radio button. So this round color circle you have to select where input type is equal to radio. Okay. So now first I need to identify this element and I need to click on this element. That's it. Okay. So how to identify? We have IDs available for all these elements. Any of the locator you use and identify the web element, and you just click on that particular web element. Okay. So let me identify this particular option 1 element using this particular first circle, first radio button using this ID. So let me driver dot find element y dot id. I'm going to identify using ID. So this I'm going to store it in a driver dot find element. This complete statement, what it will give? It will give a okay. What it will give? What it will return? Find element. What is the return type of find element? Web element. Gone. No one is responding. Everything gone. Hearing the class, listening the class, and after going home, sleeping. That's it. Web element. So this is radio 1. Okay, I'm storing in web element. I'm trying to import this. org.openqi.selenium. So this is a radio button 1. I'm just naming it radio 1. That's it. So complete driver.find element will give us a web element. Driver.find elements will give us a list of web elements. Just remember, that's an important question I told. Okay. So now, similarly, I want to identify other two radio buttons also. Okay, this is another radio button. Same ID, using ID, I'm going to identify. And copy and paste that particular line of code. This is radio button 2, where ID will be this one. I'm changing the ID also. I'm identifying the radio button 3 also. This is radio 3, and I'm copying the corresponding ID. Now I want to click on radio button 1. So what is the web element command that you have to use if I want to click? Click. So radio 1, radio button 1 dot. So let us run this and I'm able to click on this button or not. Let me run this. Okay, you're able to click on the first option. That is fine. Now my scenario is I'll click on the first option, well and good. Now I want to click on option 2. I want to click on option 2. So what I will do? Radio button 2 dot click. Once I click on radio dot 2 click, so radio button 1 will be deselected. Okay, so let me run this. So before clicking on radio button 2, I'll give some time. Otherwise, we cannot see. It will execute very fastly. Okay, let me give 5 seconds of time. 5000, which is nothing but 5 seconds. Now let me run this. Option 1 is selected. You cannot see option 1 is selected. Waiting for 5 seconds. What just happened? It didn't click because I zoomed it. Okay, let me leave it like this. Option 1 got selected. I'm waiting for 5 seconds. Option 2 got selected. How to see? I'm zooming it now. Option 2 got selected. Okay. So now, if I click on radio 3, obviously radio 2 will be deselected. Okay. So now, when we're talking about this web element commands, I didn't tell two commands. I didn't tell one command, which is nothing but is selected. Okay, when we're talking about web element commands, let me open web element commands. When I'm talking about these commands, I didn't tell about one command, which is nothing but is selected. I will tell this command when I talk about radio buttons and checkboxes. Okay, now this can be used for radio buttons or checkboxes, this particular command. So this will give us a boolean value true or false. If the radio button is selected, it will give true. If the radio button is not selected, it will give us false. It will applicable for same for checkboxes also. Okay, if the checkbox is selected, it will give true. If the checkbox is not selected, it will give us false. Is selected true or false based on the selection. So now what will happen? I want to check whether radio 2 is selected or not. What I will do, I clicked on radio button 1. Again, I clicked on radio button 2. So here what I'm going to do is, I'm going to write a println statement button 1. Okay, radio 1 dot is selected. Radio button 1. Okay, because I'm clicking on radio button 1. Once I click on radio button 1, I want to check whether that is selected or not. Okay, that is the reason I have given some statement radio button 1 and then space I have given, and I'm combining whether it is selected or not. It will give a boolean value, true or false. So radio button 1 will give true. Okay, is selected or not. Radio button is radio button 1. Okay, once it is selected, it will give us true. So again, once I click on radio button 2. So what is the radio button 1 selection? What is the radio button 2 selection? Once I click on 2, radio button 2. Okay, so what will be the radio button 1 selection? What is the radio button 2 selection? What it will give? The statement radio button 1 false, radio button 2 true, because this is the selected one. Is selected whether will give us a true if it is selected, otherwise false. I'm checking for both radio button 1 and radio button 2 dot is selected. So let me run this and see. I clicked on the radio button 1. I'm waiting for 5 seconds and clicked on radio button 2. So now we'll see the output selection, or exactly it is selected or not. So first time at this particular line, 22nd line, 23rd line, radio button 1 we are clicking and it is selected, and if you see radio button 1 true. Again, when in the 28th line we are clicking on radio button 2. Now 29-30 lines will give us the output, this particular output. Radio button 1 will be deselected, which is nothing but false. Radio button 2 will be selected, which will give us true. Okay, if it is selected, it will give us a true. If it is not selected, it will give us false. That's it. Now my scenario is, if the radio button is not already selected, then only I want to click on it. If the radio button is not selected already, sometimes you can see when you open the page, by default some option will be selected, right? So if that is the case, you don't need to click on the same option again and again. First you will check whether it is selected or not. If it is not selected, then I want to click on it. I don't want to click on directly. Okay, if we click, that is fine. Radio buttons, it will work fine. But in checkboxes, if we click on the same checkbox again, it will deselect. I don't want to do that, right? First, what we will do, whether it is a radio button or checkbox, if it is not already selected, then I want to click on it. This is my condition. I need to write a if condition, where inside the if condition, if it is not already selected, then go to inside the if condition, then I click on it. Okay, how to write an if condition, we will see. Now, let me take the same example again. Let me comment everything. Okay. What I did, I commented out everything. So only 3 radio buttons that I have taken. Now, before clicking on radio button 1, first I will check whether it is selected or not. If it is not selected, then I want to click on it. That is my condition. So how to know whether that is selected or not? Is selected. It will give us a Boolean value, true or false. What if condition will take? If condition also will take Boolean value only, true or false. If the inside if there is a condition is true, we are going to the if block, and the inside if the statements are executed. Inside if the condition is false, then we are not going to if block. That is about if condition. So now what I am going to do is I am going to write if condition here. If inside if what I need to write a statement, if that particular radio button is not selected. If it is not selected, then go inside the if block and click on it. Okay. So what it if is selected will go radio button one dot. What it will give? It will give us a true or false. Let's say radio button one is selected. In that case, I don't want to click on it. I don't want to execute this if block. So if it is selected, what it will give? Radio button one dot is selected. If inside if it is true, then I'm going to if block. It's reverse, right? We should have a false here. If the radio button is one is already selected, it gives us true. Then I'm going and again clicking on it. That is not the correct case. So this here I should get a false if it is already selected. So then I have to reverse this. It's is selected method. If I want to reverse this, what exactly I need to use? Logical operators. Logical not. Logical not some operator, what it will do? It will reverse the existing value. So now if I want to put before this complete statement is giving it true or false, I just want to reverse it. Before you need to put a logical not symbol. Okay. So if it is already selected, let's say, it will give us true. Then I don't want to click it. So true, I need to change it to false. Then only I cannot execute the if block. So complete true statement, I'm converting it to false so that I don't want to execute the if block because it is already selected. Okay. So if it is not already selected, let's say, is selected will give us false. If it is not already selected. So then I want to reverse it if I want to go to if condition. So then I'm using not symbol, I'm converting false to true so that if block will be executed so that I can click on the radio button. That's it. Any confusion? Anything needed or clear? Just we need to come line by line, step by step, what exactly happening. Okay, we can read it out like this because this is a logical not symbol. This is a selected method. We can read it out like this. If the radio button is not selected, then go ahead and click on it. We can read it out for simplification, for our understanding purpose. Okay, so if it is not selected, obviously this will give us false, and then I'm using not symbol so that I want to execute the if block, making it as true. Clear everyone? Any questions?
Clear, sir.
Okay, now let me run this. If you want to understand this, again you have to go to the if block, how exactly it works, how logical not symbol, how exactly it works, and then you have to come here and check how exactly is selected method will work. Okay, so that is the reason we need to practice every day. We clicked on it because it is not already selected. Now we have selected. So this will be more useful when we talk about checkboxes. Because when we click on option one again and again, that will be fine. But checkboxes, it works differently. When we click on again and again, it will deselect. In that case, that will be helpful. If it is not already selected, then select it. Okay. Blindly, if we click on it, it will deselect. Okay. So this is about radio buttons. Hope everyone clear about radio buttons. Now we'll discuss about checkboxes. Okay. So let me create a new class for checkboxes. So the operation which we can perform, the same thing, we just need to click on the checkbox. That's it. Identify the checkbox, just click on it. Okay. Here the main difference is we can select more than one options. Radio buttons we can select only one option. Here we can select more than one option. So let me identify the checkbox. There are 3 checkboxes are there. We have ID for each and every checkbox element. Okay. So let me take ID and try to identify. Let me write. So driver dot find element by dot ID. End of the statement. So this is ID for the first checkbox. I'm storing in a some web element. Check 1. Checkbox 2 and checkbox 3. I need to copy the IDs. Now if you want to click on checkbox 1, I just click on checkbox 1. Then I will check whether that is selected or not. Box 1. Okay. Check 1 dot is selected. So it will give us true, right? Next I'll wait for some time. I'll wait for some 5 seconds. Okay, I'll click on checkbox 2. Then I'll check both checkbox 1 and checkbox 2 selection, whether those are selected or not. Checkbox 1 selection. This is checkbox. So in the when I click on checkbox 1, what is the output that I get? Sorry. We'll get a true as an output because I already selected. Now again I'm clicking on checkbox 2 now. So here now both are selected. Okay, not only single option. Now both will give us checkbox 1 and checkbox 2 both will give us true because both are selected, because we can select more than one option. Now let me run this. I didn't save the file. Just please save the file before execute. Run as. Okay, clicked on checkbox 1 and waiting for 5 seconds. Clicking on checkbox 2. So 2 options got selected here. Checkbox 1 and 2. Now here if we go and see here. Okay. So here at the 22nd line, we are clicking on checkbox 1, and at the 23rd line, we are checking at checkbox 1. This is nothing but true. It is selected. Now I am clicking on checkbox 2 and I am checking both checkbox 1 and 2 status again. So again, true and true, because we can select more than one option here. Now what I will do, I will click on checkbox 1 again. Okay. I'll wait for some time. I'll wait for checkbox 1 now again, and I'll check both the status. What is the status now? Again, if I click on checkbox 1 will be, which means what is selected method? What is selected method will give false and then true. Okay, so we will see that. Let me run. Checkbox 1 selected, waiting for 5 seconds. Checkbox 2 I am selecting, waiting for 5 seconds, and click on checkbox 1 again. Okay, it is getting selected, only checkbox 2 is selected. So let me close this. Now if you see 23rd line, after clicking on checkbox 1 is selected, which is nothing but true. Once I click on checkbox 2, 28 and 29 lines are giving these two options, true and true, because we are selecting both checkbox 1 and 2. Now if we click on checkbox 1 again at the 33rd line, right? So what it will give? The first one will be deselected. So that is the checkbox 1 will be false and checkbox 2 will be true. Okay. So this is about checkboxes. Now we can apply the same thing if the checkbox is not already selected. Then go ahead and select it. So now we can use the same concept here. Let me comment everything. Checkbox 1 is not selected. Checkbox 1 is not selected. Then click on checkbox 1. First check whether it is selected or not. Otherwise, if you directly blindly click on it, if it is already selected, then you will deselect it. That is the risk that we have. So that check whether that is not selected or not, then click on it. So let me run this. So before going to do that, I'm just clicking on the checkbox 1. First, I'll click on the checkbox 1 and I'm checking the status. If it is selected or not selected. It is selected. Okay, then I don't want to click on it. So if it is selected, this statement will give me true. If I don't want to execute if block, that is the reason I'm converting it to false. Inside if the complete statement is false, then I'm not going to execute the if block. Okay, I'm clicking on checkbox 1 and I'm checking the status whether that is selected or not. Then I'm clicking on it. Okay, here I don't want to click it again. So that is the reason I have written if condition. That's it. So let me run this. It won't click, it won't deselect because of the if condition. See, we clicked on the checkbox 1 and we are not clicking again. Okay, it is selected. Now let's say we are not clicking on it. We are not clicking on it at all. So now we are checking the status if it is not already selected. So if it is not already selected, this gives us false. Not symbol makes us false to true. So then we are executing the if block and clicking on it because it is not selected already. So let me run this. Okay. So this is how it will click because if it is not already selected. Okay, clear everyone about the checkboxes and radio buttons. Okay, so we're done with the checkboxes and radio buttons. We have two other types of elements that we're going to discuss is one is drop downs and one is the web tables. One is a drop down, other one is a web tables. These things we'll discuss tomorrow's class. Okay, we'll complete both drop downs and web tables tomorrow only. Please be available at 11:30. We'll complete these two and we'll move to the other concepts of Selenium. Okay. Any questions,
Sir,
guys?
once display the navigation command code, sir.
Okay.
Code, sir.
Code you want? Okay. Okay. You can complete Selenium in this week only. Okay. And then we'll complete the frameworks next week.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Just a second, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, guys. So that's all for today's session. Any questions?